Uh-oh, more guests are
Here we go. Hey,
arriving.
ladies and gentlemen. Coming in, Brandon, how are you? This is Rey Ybarra for the New Media Radio Hour, streaming live from the Pack Stereo TV studios. And I'm here with the entrepreneurs from Shark Tank, Mark and Hannah Lim from Lollacup. And just walking in is Brandon Marz from Marz Sprays. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing fine. Before I get in with the program, ladies and gentlemen, on the way to the studio, we've all heard of this terrible tragedy that's taken place in Connecticut with these school children and their families. All of us here are doing this program with heavy hearts. We remember them in our thoughts and in our prayers, and we continue to do the best we can. I know you guys, Mark and Hannah, you have children. I know that you're going to go to pick them up right after. And Brandon, I know that you have a heavy heart as well. So let's do the best that we can to get through this program today, and it's great to have you in the studio. Before I introduce or get on to the program, I want to introduce right over here the man behind Pack Stereo TV, the man with a plan, the tech guru, Mario Hemsley. What's going on, Mario?
Oh, just great to be here. I must admit, I had an inspired morning, Ray, because of your guests. You know, it's my job as the master of the desktop to make sure we can show our audience all the multimedia that exists behind our guest today. And Ray, you brought people with a bunch of multimedia, so I can tell you, we have stuff to show on all your guests today, and it's very interesting videos, and I must admit, I have never been so inspired myself by seeing such a group of entrepreneurs seeing their visions come to play. So we're ready whenever you are.
Okay, well, let's get on with this here. Let's formally introduce Mark and Hannah Lim from Lollacup. You saw them on the hit show Shark Tank, and walking in here is Brandon Marz, one half of the Marz Sprays team. Guys, thank you for being on the program today. This is a special Q&A session that's going to be featured in my upcoming book, Conversations with Shark Tank Winners, How the Shark Tank Effect Dramatically Increased Sales, Exposure, and More for these Successful Entrepreneurs, coming out in spring of 2013. And the key word here is successful, because you guys were successful before you went on the show. So I'd like to ask you, let's start with you, Mark and Hannah. What things did you do to become successful before you went on Shark Tank?
I actually wouldn't call us successful before we went on Shark Tank.
Okay.
Only because I think when we filmed our episode of Shark Tank, we had only been sort of shipping and in business for 3-4 months. So, I mean, we were brand new babies. And then...
Right.
Well, successful, what I mean by this successful is that you did things to start your business. You did things to get the ball rolling, register your copyrights and products and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I think successful in the sense that we were able to accomplish major goals that we had set out, taking the product to market, you know, just finishing our prototype, actually shipping to a customer. I think and landing customers, those are all things that it starts from an idea, but once you get those things, you know you're on your way. And so we're excited to have that.
Brandon?
I would agree completely. It's a long path, and if you plan it correctly, there's a lot of planning that goes on before any success can happen. So I completely agree with what I just heard.
Well, you guys now, this is a Q&A session here. We have some questions here online already. I'd like to start with you, Brandon. What factors or actions do you think were the most effective in you being considered for and ultimately being chosen to appear on Shark Tank?
Good question. I think that it was a function of a unique product, and we had a lot of enthusiasm in our video, and we have a pretty good story. You know, we have a lot of different products that appeal to a lot of different people. We solve a problem, and I think that's what kind of brought us to be chosen as a contestant.
And you guys?
You know, we ultimately knew that Shark Tank was a television show. Mark and I, actually, we didn't go the video route. We went to an open casting call and stood in line for 7 hours. And so, you know, we had a lot of time to talk about how we were going to present ourselves. And I think we were like, you know what, it's a baby product. We have some great accounts already. Let's just sell ourselves, like be ourselves. And we just told our story. We've been dating since middle school, so you know that was kind of interesting that we now got married and had a family and have this business. So.
You know, it's an interesting thing on Shark Tank because a lot of people don't realize that this is a program that's basically entertainment to get ratings. Okay, of course it's business. You're out there for what, an hour and a half, 2 hours, getting grilled by the sharks. But ultimately, they edit it down for entertainment purposes. Tell me about that. When you saw your episode, what did you think about the final product?
Prior, I prayed to the editing gods that things would hopefully go fairly well. It's hard. You're in there for, like you said, we were in there for about 45 minutes, and you have no idea, what's going to be shown. There's a lot of good stuff, but a lot of, it's hard to cut down 45 minutes into 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. But, for our segment, it worked out well. We were happy with how it came out.
How about you guys?
Likewise, we were praying right along with you. There's just so much to choose from. There's so many things that you said. All the facial expressions that I made, I didn't realize made it on the show. But you just hope for it to not be embarrassing, or that you said something that would make you sound like you didn't do your homework or whatnot. But we were very fortunate to have like a really good editing session, I believe.
Now, you guys really paid your dues to be on the show. Do we have a photo of Hannah waiting in line there, or waiting for the? I think there's a photo there that I said, well, I want to show you this because it's proof here. We're going to try to find that. And in the meantime, here, showing some Lollacup photos here. In the meantime, you guys really paid your dues to get on the show because there it is. There's the photo. That's proof, ladies and gentlemen, that this show is for real and that these entrepreneurs really paid their dues. And how long did you wait in line?
I really think we were there for 7 hours.
Wow. How about you, Brandon?
We did not do an open casting call.
Oh, you didn't?
No, we did not. We applied, I guess, I don't know if it's a more traditional route or another route, but it was still a grueling process. I mean, we went through dozens and dozens of calls and Skype videos and...
Yeah. No, this picture here says it all to me because if you're out there for 7 hours, how many people were out there, would you guesstimate, were out there in line?
A few hundred, I believe, at least. Yeah. I mean, we've heard... It looked like a few hundred. We've heard the word 1,000 thrown around, but it was so hard to tell. It went all the way down the street. We were probably the first 100th person, so as soon as we got done, we split. So it's hard to tell, but it was pretty chaotic, organized chaos.
What shark do you guys fear the most? When you went on show, you walked off of there, you were kind of trembling about this shark. Who was it?
Well, after or before? That's two different questions.
Okay, let's go with before.
All right, before, I think... Well, first, I wasn't really nervous of any of them, but I think that I was most anxious, intimidated for the questions that were going to come from Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Kevin O'Leary. Mr. Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yeah, he's been known to really tear up, at least on television, the entrepreneurs there who really don't know their stuff. And then he comes in and wants 51% of your company to take it over, How about you guys?
Yeah, likewise. I mean, we were so intimidated by Mr. Wonderful. And I think even after the show, I mean, he was definitely the harshest on us.
Let's take a look at Marz sprays here. Let's get a look at their website and their product, because I know that you, along with your dad Keith, create the Marz sprays team. And we're looking at some of the products, and you've been endorsed by some celebrities. How did you get celebrities to start using your product?
Well, everything we've done, none of which has come easy. So we've gone through multiple different channels to try and access all kinds of people using our products. We're not most proud of the celebrities. We're probably most proud of folks like teachers that have used it and told us that they've stayed healthy when their whole classroom got sick using our sea spray product. Things of that nature really speak well to how well the product works for people. And the bottom line is we created an oral spray, which is more or less vitamins and nutrients that you spray directly into your mouth. So it provides what we think is the consumer an edge. When you as a consumer walk down a vitamin aisle, you have no idea which products disintegrate, which products ultimately you absorb. With an oral spray, you have that advantage that you get to absorb a lot more of the underlying nutrients. So
I'm taking a lot of vitamins right now, and a multivitamin that the pill's about that big, so I'm going to have to try some of this here. How about you guys? How about your products here? Have you gotten any celebrities to endorse yours yet?
I mean, we haven't gotten endorsements. We've been very fortunate that we've just had celebrities holding it and been photographed in Us Weekly. I think Sandra Bullock was photographed at her son's preschool with it. Allison Hannigan from How I Met Your Mother. Martha Stewart was in her stroller with her granddaughter.
It was on the Keeping Up with the Kardashian shows.
Yeah, so
And,
I mean, and that just was fortuitous.
And we have Lollacup on screen, and those are your beautiful children there. Tell me about them.
So we have 2 girls, a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and gosh, there's so much to say, but they're just like the reason we do this.
Well, it's cool because Story, who's the 5-year-old, she was the inspiration behind how this product came to be, because we were frustrated from the options of cups that were out there. And that's when Hannah said, okay, I think I could do a better job, and I said, let's go for it. And Sophia was ultimately the test baby. And so when we had the actual prototype, she picked it up at 6 months and started using it. And it's funny because I tell Hannah, I'm like, well, if we want more baby product ideas, we might have to have another kid, in a joking way.
Uh-huh.
Now she's pregnant. I kind of regret. I don't regret it. But it's just like, wow, look what I said.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are doing a fantastic job balancing your family, and now your child is going to be born in March of next year, 2013, and you're doing a fantastic job. I know it's not easy, so congratulations on that. I got some more questions here online I want to ask you guys. Ricky writes here, what role did social media play? Brandon?
We're pretty active in social media. We have a good following on both Facebook and Twitter. So we're very engaged in terms of what role. I don't know exactly what that means with regards to Shark Tank, but we've been using social media for our existence to try and build excitement and interest in our brand. We also provide, we think, very good, healthy tips on a fairly regular basis, and hopefully not an annoying basis. Things about weight loss, things about health, things about vitamin C, things that people just should know.
Okay, so social media then. Primarily Facebook, you're on there because I do see you on Facebook, and you have a nice Facebook page. Do we have any links to their Facebook pages so we can go take a look? How do you guys implement social media?
Social media, I have to say, has been one of our weak points from the beginning.
Yeah.
We just, we're 2 entrepreneurs, we have our hands full, and we didn't know what to do with it, frankly, and we said, when we put something out there, are people going to care? But that's one thing that Mark Cuban and his team has really helped us with, because he was like, you need to connect with your customers. You need to, don't be afraid. Don't be hiding behind your brand. Put yourself out there. You're the mom. You're the dad. And that's helped immensely. Once we sort of opened that curtain and got out there and said, look, this is who we are. This is what we're trying to do. And we were just really honest with our Facebook fans. It just grew.
It's all about engagement, just like we're streaming live right now, and it's all about engagement. People asking questions in real time here. It's all about that engagement, which has made the business climate change quite a bit from, I guess, even a couple of years ago. Now we have mobility. We're talking about mobility, right, Mario?
Exactly. And what's really great about the guests here today is that they all have wonderful, wonderful, extensive online presences. For example, now, Lollacup. Now, everybody, they were kind of going back and forth. I was hearing some folks say Lollacup and other folks say Lollacup. What is the exact pronunciation for that?
It is Lollacup.
Okay, because I was even in the videos. But check it out, Ray. We actually have videos that show the products, about the products for each one. For example, the first one we have here about the Lollacup, take a look, and you can see it in action. For those who've been wondering about this wonderful product, remember, we are the masters of the desktop, but we have to deal with that neo-urban buffer.
Okay.
Take a look.
Here is the Lollacup.
See?
And what it does is, as you can see, this will flip up. The straw comes up. It does not bend the straw badly at all, so there's no problem with that. And as you can see, flip back down and snap shut, so the kids can't open it.
Isn't that just wonderful?
Also, let me see if I can do this. It twists off. Very easy.
Homemade
And
videos
as
here.
well-
Well, as far as I can tell, this is just a fan. I don't know if you guys
straw.
arranged this, but it just appeard to be a fan.
Whereas
Now,
other
what do you
straws, it
think
just
when you
goes
see
straight down.
your responses
how
on
little,
YouTube and
it
what do you
will
think
stay
about
in
all of
there.
that people are spreading it around?
Very
We
cool
love it. I
weighted
mean,
straw.
it's
So,
organic.
that's
It's
amazing.
the ultimate
Handles
user.
on, handles
and
off. This
a lot
goes
of
into a
times,
cup holder
actually,
very easy.
we've had a mom
My daughter
who
loves it.
did a review on us on her own, and she just this one right here, she was perfect. She understood exactly what we were going for, and it's great to have someone that we didn't, try to teach or coach or say, hey, do this for us or whatnot. She did it on her own, and she totally got what we were going for, and so it was great.
Well, that was the example, Ray, too, of your question about the social media. I can tell you just by taking a look here at their presence. Look at the extensive presence. And for those of you who want to see the Shark Tank episode, it's there on YouTube. And I can also say at the Lollacup site, they all have it where you can link and get over to that information. Now, Ray, I also have information for your other guests, too.
Let's see it. Let's go with Brandon here, and we'll see his use of social media, too, what they're saying online here. And talking about joining the conversation, ladies and gentlemen, this is all free. This is a good part about it, that it spreads, and then people are actually advertising, becoming brand advocates for your product and your services.
Well, this is one of my favorites here. I mean, this is some witty stuff, you guys.
Okay.
Look at these
It's
smiles.
3 a.m. and your children are safe and asleep. But there's a phone in the White House, and it's ringing. Something's happening in the world. Who do you want answering the phone? Who cares? Go back to sleep. It's 3 a.m. Need a good night's rest? Try Sleep Spray from Marz Sprays. Available now at marzsprays.com.
Okay, whose idea was that?
That was my dad's idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he the marketing end of everything?
Not typically, actually.
Wow.
He's typically the R&D end.
Okay.
He does a lot of the research and development, works closely with doctors and PhDs and chemists and our lab. Typically, I do more of the marketing, but that was one.
And he goes out and parties on nightclubs on the weekend, right?
Yeah, he's just about 70, but he spends a lot of time at raves and nightclubs.
Okay, I have another question here. This is from Super Ben. The inventor insisted on keeping the products as made in the USA. He's talking about one of the episodes of Shark Tank. He could have increased sales, profit margin, but refused. The Sharks all said no to a deal. What do you guys think about keeping it in the USA after being on the show? Let's start with you guys.
Well, for us in particular in the baby industry, that was one of the most important things. Only because, like I said on the show, there are a ton of moms that are shopping for USA-made products. They just, you feel safer about it. You want to support your economy. And so we just weren't willing to budge on that.
What about you, Brandon? I know that wasn't there something with Damon John about products overseas with vitamins and getting some...
Yeah, we were very fortunate. Earlier this year during the summer, we attended one of the largest vitamin shows in the world. It was in Europe, in Geneva. And since then, we've been going through the registration process to register our products abroad. He felt that process could take a lot longer than we estimated. He's not exactly right. We have been able to fortunately get through what we needed to in a quick period of time, but I think that his advice is right, that in business things take often a lot longer. With regards to the Made in USA, our products are all made in the USA. We use one of the largest nutraceutical labs in the country. We think that's very important as well.
Well, Mr. Wonderful is always talking about, at least they edited on the show, about taking it overseas to make a bigger profit. Does that really bother you guys at all, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, I totally get what he's saying, and we're not about, we don't believe in making things overseas, because the reality is that most things are, and if a lot of things that we use on an everyday basis, if they weren't made overseas, we probably wouldn't be able to afford them, just because of the scale and like labor and whatnot. But I understand his mindset, and I understand why he wanted to take Lollacup overseas. It just wasn't right for us at this time, or it wasn't right for what our mission for this product was. Now, like I said, this is the product that we want to use with our girls. And so when someone buys our Lollacup, I'm always thinking it's like my daughter, or what I want my kid to use. And we have a lot of customers that think the same way, and that's who we're going after, and not for the ones that don't really care. So we're not saying it's bad to make it in China or whatnot. It's just we're really targeting a certain parent. I mean.
Okay, we have a statement here, slash a question from James, who says, my only guidance for the people who are going on the show, or for anyone who pitches any investors, to carefully study every aspect of the background of the people you are pitching.
I agree. I think you should absolutely know your audience. And, you know, with Shark Tank, you have a little bit of an advantage in that there's a lot of public information you can accumulate about the sharks. Problem is, when you get into the Shark Tank, nothing goes that way. It's not as smooth and easy as anyone can attest that's been there. It's in our case, it was a rapid fire zone, I would say, as opposed to a nice calm Q&A session.
Yeah.
And you guys?
Well, you know, the funny thing is we ended up getting a deal with Mark Cuban and Robert Herjavec, and those are the two, quote, tech guys that probably would not have given a baby product the time of day. So we were sort of thrown for a loop too, because when we went in there, we said we had done all our research on their backgrounds and said, okay, maybe these two people would be a good fit, and then it ended up being two totally different people.
You know, when I interviewed Robert Herjavec and Barbara Corcoran for my radio podcast some time ago, and it was interesting talking to Robert because he's a really cool guy. And I was talking to him about the friction between him and Mark that seems to be on the show, if it's for real or not. And he said in part that it was, but it's actually made him a better a person on there because, you know, Mark has a direct way of getting to people, and I guess he has to be that way because he's dealing with multi-billion-dollar business, athletes on his Dallas Mavericks team that have egos like crazy, and he's got to be really sharp and to the point. So you guys couldn't have made deals with two vastly different people, but I guess it seems to be balancing each other out.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, for us, on the line of Mark Cuban, people always ask me, oh my gosh, you know, because I'm a big basketball fan, and a lot of my friends are basketball fans. Oh, what's it like to work with Mark, and is he nice and whatnot? And I always say, look, like you said, he's very direct. I'm not looking for nice. Like, that's not why we made a deal. I'm looking to learn and to be pushed and to
be with a winner
and gain something. Exactly, be with a winner, right?
Right.
Just like I said. So when he is direct or sometimes a little, you know, it's not very a cordial email, we don't take it personally. You know, it's not. I'm not trying to be his friend. I'm trying to gain the most out of him. So,
Mario, you want to add anything to that, man?
Well, I must admit, it's an amazing thing to watch. For those of you who haven't seen it, you got to go look at it. The episodes at the Shark Tank. I was inspired. In fact, scared, inspired. And those of you who and so many of us who are entrepreneurs attempting to be, we so much felt like we were glad that you were out there instead of, for at least for a moment, you know, at least for a moment I said, you know, I'm glad I'm watching this first, even though I was so envious of having that position. It's really inspired viewing, and it's great to watch. And actually at both sites you can find information about getting to the episode, and it's on YouTube also.
Well said, well said. Well, this is a statement here and kind of a question from Rob. Why is reality TV show Shark Tank a ratings hit? Why do you think it's a ratings hit?
I think that it's a natural situation for, you know, the stay-at-home viewer to root alongside somebody in a fashion that's not a typical sport. You know, you're not rooting for a team, you're rooting for a company or a person or an idea. And people get behind it and are passionate about it. The emails we get on a regular basis still are just unbelievable. You know, that people just really, really respond well to, I think, when people are, you know, confronted with a challenge. And even children. We get emails from parents all the time that say, my kids loved watching you on the show. And so if it can become more of a family show, that's fantastic. And that's why the ratings keep going up, I think.
Yeah.
How do the Sharks know, you guys, Mark and Hannah, how do they know if you have a great product?
I don't know. I mean, I have to say that it's just their gut, because they don't. I mean, we're told that they know nothing about us until we walk through those doors. So you really have that, you know, 45 to 90 seconds to pitch your idea and product to them, and so. I mean, it's just intuition, I'm guessing.
I think it's that in a combination of just, you know, the way we validated our product, obviously, was sales, with the feedback, with the reorders. Every question they had, it was clear that we had done our homework, and we had backup information for our assumptions, because that's business. You don't know. You don't know what's right and what's wrong or what's successful. There's no formula. But as long as someone feels confident that your assumptions are built on, you know, not just gut feeling, but homework and road work, and, you know, you really aren't just passionate about it, but you are knowledgeable about it, then I think it kind of, you know, buys into not just the product, but us. You know,
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Mario, you want to add anything to
Well,
that?
you know, what's interesting is that you had an experience where you were kind of called to the carpet to make an immediate decision. Mark Cuban jumps out of his chair and says, "Take my deal, or I'm sitting down." And so I was like getting dressed, and I was like frozen for a minute, like da 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 da. And to really find out that occurred like that is one thing and challenging. But go to you, Brandon. You literally got attacked to me. You literally got, and my brother, your ability to keep your cool.
I've never seen anybody sweat so much in my life.
You did it, though, Brandon. You pulled that off. You know, tell us about the experience of being challenged so in your face about just even that your product was even something of validity.
Wait, you notice he's not sweating right now?
Yeah, I know.
Well, he handled it so well, you all. I have to admit, you really did.
Thank you, I appreciate it. It was just totally unexpected. From the second we finished our pitch, I don't think there was 8 seconds that went by where there weren't 3 questions thrown at us simultaneously from multiple sharks. And, you know, to overcome some of the battles was easy. You know, the questions that were real questions that we could address, whether they were sales or marketing or international stuff with regards to our products. The problems came about with Mark, as an example, who didn't believe in the supplement industry as a whole.
He called you a hoax.
Yeah, it was a hoax. Yeah, right.
Because I was like, oh, that's cold.
You know, we felt that was very offensive, especially to the millions of people out there that benefit from supplements on a daily basis. There's people that legitimately have problems sleeping. They need energy. They lack vitamins. I mean, these are real people that get helped on a daily basis. So, you know, we didn't appreciate that, but we also couldn't anticipate that would happen. So,
yeah, that was a really tough time there on the show when he called that whole thing a hoax, because Mark did that with another guest as well, and the way that you rebounded from that, but the other guest, I don't remember exactly who it was, but that dude they just crumbled, and they were just crushed from that point on, and it was no good. How did you guys handle the pressure of going on there and saying, I think there's 9 cameras around the set at the big set? How did you handle that?
I mean, it was tough when you're in the mix of it. I forgot about the cameras.
Yeah.
I mean,
I had no idea when they told me there were 9 afterwards.
So focused, and I told Hannah and I had a little pep talk before the doors opened, and I said, "Listen, they're gonna come after you. They need leverage. They're gonna say things to try to maybe tilt you or to kind of give up or whatnot. Just kind of maybe even sometimes I feel it's just to see how tough you are.
Yeah.
You know." And so if you can just weather that and just say, listen, we're standing our ground, this is what we are, we believe in it, you know, something good will happen.
I asked Brandon the question earlier. I want you guys to answer this. What shark did you fear the most afterward? He answered before, but after. If you did.
No, I don't think we had that kind of...
Yeah, I mean,
fear.
even Kevin O'Leary, who I thought was going to rip me to shreds, was okay and manageable. And, you know, before we went in, Mark said, look, Hannah, like, we're not here to beg and grovel. We're here to make a business deal, so we're on equal footing, essentially. And it's hard to think that way when you're in front of the sharks on national TV.
Right.
But it's true, you know, we're not here to beg and sell our souls to the devil. It's like, we're doing a business deal, and, you know,
Hey, Mario,
you do what you
what
can.
shark do you fear the most? I want to get your expert in here.
Probably Kevin.
Yeah.
You know, probably Kevin, even though, you know, the thing about it, I think he's easier to predict than Mark. Because Mark kind of shocked me. He shocked me with Brandon. He shocked, so at least Kevin seems to be consistent.
Yeah.
I must admit, I'm fascinated by the ladies, though.
Oh, yeah, Lori Grenier and Barbara Corcoran. Actually,
I'm just fascinated by the way they run their stuff, and that they actually connect with the products in a way as a product designer, you want that. You could tell that she takes it personal, your products, when she gets behind you. Plus, she's got QVC.
Right.
Yeah.
So I liked the quality that she brought that seemed to bring a little bit more personal interest in what she was doing with your products, and that she had that over everybody. She had that, and that quality certainly makes her at least more lovable as one of the sharks, right?
Yeah, but lovable, but they're tough because when I interviewed Barbara, she was telling me about the time that she took on Donald Trump and won in court. And that it was an all male. She has a tremendous book. I don't exactly remember what the title is. I'm forgetting here, but if you have a chance to read her story for where she started in her apartment with a $1,000 loan, and she built that real estate business up in New York that was all male driven, and there was a guy named Donald Trump standing in her way, and she trumped him. Wow. She went to court and she trumped him. And what is she like on set? That's what I want to know. Barbara, yeah.
I didn't see her because Lori was
Lori
there
was
for my segment.
Same, okay, all right. I'm getting my sharks, my entrepreneurs mixed up here. But she's really an incredible woman, so I'll get some of the entrepreneurs on here who had experience with her. And I want to move on to this next question here. Is ABC's Shark Tank the American Idol of venture capital? What do you think?
Well, venture capital, that's a big word, but really, we'd always like to have more money as a small business. You need money to grow. Yeah. So, I think it's sort of like a glimpse into that world. I wouldn't call it venture capital. It's more, I guess, angel investing. But it is, it gives people the reality of what you need to prepare for if you're going to run a business.
Well, how about the American Idol part? Because that would make you American Idol contestants, right?
Well, you know what? I was just asking these guys before you came over here. They get stopped and recognized. How about you?
No, I'm not as famous as them.
No.
Well, we're like one of the few Asian American contestants, so we're probably easier to spot. I bet.
Definitely.
And also, when you have a kid, you're just thinking, I don't know, maybe there's a different connection there.
And a couple.
Right.
And a couple, too. As a couple, they came on as a couple.
Right. I've been stopped several times, and they're like, I know you, we've met, and I'm like, I'm not really sure. And then when Hannah comes back from the bathroom or whatever, they're like, oh my gosh, you guys are the guys on Shark Tank. So.
Very recognizable. But, Brandon and his dad, that had a certain vibe to it, too, that you... As a person who worked with his father, myself, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, it was great. There's times where
we're
a little bit more passionate than I think a typical business relationship.
As we all who work with
family. One of the questions that always pops up in the Shark Tank group on LinkedIn is when someone applies for the show, and they want to know, I've just applied for Shark Tank, I haven't heard anything back. How long does it take?
Just keep waiting. Yeah, I think it really depends. I don't know their cycles of how quickly they respond, but I don't know. I know some people I've spoken with that didn't hear for months and months and then heard. So.
How about you?
From what I know is that they condense everything. So it's like if you applied over, let's say, 6 months, all these people are applying, they set aside 1 week to just contact everyone. Yeah, and then they have their pool of maybes, which we were, and we're just at the mercy of their schedule. Like, hey, talk today. That's it.
Well, for you entrepreneurs out there watching the show, just remember just to be really, really patient, because I was interviewing another entrepreneur. I won't say who it was for the book, and she waited 2 years before someone contacted her back. She kept contacting him, and she went on, and I won't say who it is for the book's purposes' sake, but she went on to for a fantastic deal with one of the sharks, and she's doing fantastic. And a statistic that she gave me that I want to share with a viewing audience and for entrepreneurs out there as well is that I think out of 30,000 applicants, something to that effect over the last few years on the show, I think only 30 or something to 40 have made deals with the sharks. So you guys are absolutely, astronomically, incredibly either lucky, but I don't believe in luck, are very special, because as I was talking about, as successful entrepreneurs, you've done the things necessary to get to that point. And when preparation meets opportunity, that's what I call luck. So congratulations on all of that. We have a few minutes left here. Are there anything, last things that you'd like to say about your product or about the experience, about being here in Pack Stereo TV with Mario or with Vic back there doing a great job? What do you want to say?
Really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you. With regards to, first of all, your products, I have a son that's 2 years old. He uses the product and has for a while. So we're big. My wife and I are, big consumers of it, I guess, and our friends. With regards to Marz sprays, we just hope people want to try a different way to get underlying nutrients and vitamins. It's a great alternative, and they work really well. We get unbelievable testimonials, so thank you for all the support that we get.
You guys?
We're just honored to be here, and just to spend some time with yourself. We had a great conversation before, and just, I don't know, this is fun, just being able to talk about our experience with Shark Tank or our company, and we have a lot of things up our sleeve that we can't wait to unveil, but we're just being patient, and we're just hoping to keep pumping out great product out there. So.
Hannah, I'm going to give you 24 seconds.
Thank you, Ray.
How do you think I got it to marry me?
She was thinking about it a little bit. What I'd like to say is thank you all for coming in and participating in this Q&A roundtable session that's going to be featured in my upcoming book, Conversations with Shark Tank Winners, How the Shark Tank Effect Dramatically Increased Sales, Exposure, and More for these successful entrepreneurs, coming out in the spring of 2013. I want to thank you for participating in the book project. I'm very excited about my multimedia book coming out. It'll be full of interviews, audio, and video as well. Great stories, tips from the sharks. Much continued success, you guys. Even though there's been a tragedy today, we remember those families. Go back to your families, get your kids, be safe. And for all of you viewing, this is Rey Ybarra. Hey, Mario, anything last things you'd like to say?
Hey, it's been a wonderful experience. This has been the New Media Radio Hour, featuring authors, experts in new and social media, with our host, Rey Ybarra.
Hey, it's been a great time with you, Mario. Vic back there, great job. And ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for more announcements on the program here about my upcoming book and guests on the New Media Radio Hour from Pack Stereo TV. Thanks a lot. Take care. Be safe.